Welcome, everybody. We'll get council meeting underway January 3rd, 2023. Good luck not messing that up, 22 and 23, when you have to ride it for a little bit. We'll get things underway here on the agenda tonight. First, we'll go to Councilwoman Beck, who's invited our motivational message and prayer, and then Shane will give us the pledge.
Nope, that wasn't me.
Oh, you weren't the one?
Jesse.
Was it Jesse?
Start off strong.
Jesse. Well, you did go strong with this.
Can you even sit up here? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. First, we'll do a formality, if you will, the formal part of it in just a little bit.
Welcome to the group.
Yeah. But welcome to the club, Jesse. It only gets more sarcastic than that. But excited to have you up here, and your turn to intro the prayer, motivational message.
So tonight we have Wendy Osborne, who's going to give us our motivational message and prayer.
Thank you for the invite, for coming. It's always an honor to come and speak before all of you and to see each of you. So I have just a quote that I want to share with you. If you concentrate on finding whatever is good in every situation, you'll discover that your life will suddenly be filled with gratitude, a feeling that nurtures the soul. And that's from Rabbi Harold Kushner. As we start this year, I have a tendency to, and maybe others do this too, but I have a tendency to surge ahead and plan and get all excited. And sometimes I forget to stop and say thank you and realize, look at what has been accomplished. And as I look at our city and our community, there's been so many great things that happened this past year, wonderful things, and wonderful things that we have to look forward to. And I just wanted to express gratitude for those things and say I'm just excited for our community. I think I shared this with Mike before, but I have a father who is a councilman in Michigan, in a small city in Michigan, and he's been there he moved there in Mount Morris. He moved there before that community was a thriving, booming community, and since there's been a mass exodus and really, their community's not growing. They're not prosperous. They're shrinking, and it's very hard. But that's not our story here. That's not Spanish Fork. We have a lot to be grateful for. We have our own internet. We have our own TV station. We have a recreation center and a senior center, and we have businesses coming to our community and families moving in. And yes, that means traffic, but that means progress. And we have so much to be grateful for. And I just want to say how grateful I am, and just admonish our community to take a moment and take in what has been accomplished in 2022 and just soak that in. There's been so many great accomplishments. I would like to say thank you to our leadership, to our community, our city, everyone who works in our city, from taking out our trash to making sure our lights work and our water runs, all those things. Thank you for what you do. I'm sure that sometimes you feel like that's a thankless job, but I'm sure grateful when I turn on my water, it works, and my lights turn on and all those fun things. And so we have a lot to really, truly to be grateful here in our community. And again, running a city isn't hard. I'm grateful to God that that's not something I'm called to do. But I know that you guys will have in this next year a lot of wonderful, joyous moments, but you'll have hard times too, difficult things. And as you go forward in these things and you're making decisions and planning for our community, I know you're doing the best that you can, but I'm sure it's going to be challenging moments as well. But take a moment to just take in accomplishments and appreciate and soak up the joy this next year. And again, just thank you so much for what you do. So with that, I just want to say a quick prayer. So, Father God, we thank you. We thank you that you establish our borders and that we live in this amazing community, Lord God. I'm thankful to live here, and I'm thankful. I know that so many are thankful to call Spanish Fork their home. We're grateful for our leadership, for our state, and for our country we live in, and for this time and place which you've put us. We're grateful for this season, Lord God, and for a new year. Lord, we pray that we will receive your wisdom and your insight. We pray blessing and favor over our leadership and those who are working in our city, that they'll continue to make good and wise decisions and be good stewards. We pray for help for them when it's needed and for guidance for them. We pray, Lord God, that we'll always seek you, Lord, this year, that this year will be a year where we can say we've learned to trust you more, to lean on you more, and to thank you more, and to see you more, and commune with you more, Lord God. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks, Wendy. Please rise and join with me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thanks again, Wendy, for that message. Thank you for the service you provide in our community through Tabitha's Way. I know everyone up here knows how important and vital that is to our community, the line that goes down and around the block sometimes of people coming to see you, and just a reminder of the giving in our community, but also the people that facilitate that and make it happen. So we're honored to have you here, and thank you for coming. Okay, do we have any follow-up to previous questions that were asked? Seth, if you can remind us what that was?
Yeah, thank you. Last council meeting, we had a resident come in, and Mr. Lyons, you'll recall he expressed some frustrations about some issues related to being annexed and utility adjustments. I'll just briefly review some of those concerns that he expressed and what we've done since then. First of all, the annexation occurred probably 20 years ago, and so there were some things that could have or should have taken place as many as 20 years ago, but didn't for a number of reasons. And those really aren't what his concerns are. His concerns are that they did take place, actually. So maybe there is some gratitude that they didn't happen 20 years ago. Speaking of gratitude, right? First of all, the comment, Mr. Lyons' first comment was that he lost his garden when UDOT widened the road, and we haven't really spent a lot of time on that one because that's a state issue with him. But that would have happened in only one of two ways. First of all, maybe his garden was in the right-of-way to begin with. Or second of all, he sold the land to UDOT as a part of that right-of-way growth. Either way, it would have happened. It would have happened one of those two ways. The state doesn't just take that land. So chances are the right-of-way had already been established, and he was just growing his garden inside the right-of-way already. So that was kind of a gift to him that he was able to have a garden for a while in that location previous to the road work happening. Second of all, the address change, again, that probably should have happened some 20 years ago, but it didn't. And so we recognize that having an address change is frustrating, but that does happen when, especially to ensure good public safety. If your road has a certain name and the north or the south should be of a certain direction, if we dispatch you to a location and it has a city address but a county address, all of a sudden you start sending people into the lake when they think they might be going to a certain address. So that's one that we really can't fix, but it is a reality and can be a frustration when people get annexed, and we recognize that. Most importantly, I think the biggest issue Mr. Lyons expressed to us was some of the changes that happened having to sign up for utilities. That happens. When you are annexed into the city, you should be on city services and not on county services or the like. So what really triggered this is that we were able to begin providing services because of the SESD contract that we have and the ability to begin providing services to our residents. But with that, his big complaint was about storm drain. You might recall that he said that he doesn't want to pay that storm drain because he's on a state road and doesn't believe that we're maintaining that storm drain system. It's actually not the case. Chris will tell you that we are maintaining most of the storm drain system, even though it's on the state road, specifically as that storm drain outfalls into the lake or into the river. We do maintenance on that river as it carries our storm water. But most specifically, the storm drain system and all utilities, frankly, are not associated with the cost in front of any one particular home. I don't pay for the cost right in front of my home. It's an aggregated amount that we share. And so I may have this much of the system, or I may have that much. And we all share in that burden proportionately in as much as we can through utilities, like our storm drain. It's just on a home unit rather than on some kind of a usage, because storm drains are everywhere, right? Every street that we drive on is a part of our storm drain system. And so there isn't really a whole lot of relief that can be offered as a resident of the city. That is part of the fee structure that he would have to pay as it relates to that fee. But me being someone that's always looking for the good news, there are a couple of things that I think any resident, when they were to annex into the city, that they should look at taking advantage of. First of all, our power rates on average would be about $10 to $15 less a month. And so that probably wipes out the storm drain fee, because the bill that any resident on the other provider, they'd be paying on average about $10 to $15 more a month. Second of all, now that they have access to our utilities, they also have access to our internet, as Wendy just mentioned, I think a moment ago, right? That typically saves residents between $20 to $50 a month. And so those are some benefits that can come in. When you add all those things up, we totally believe and understand that the aggregate bill that a resident would pay would be less. Were you able to find out what the county garbage bill is? Or I don't think we got there, but. So anyways, we can't specifically eliminate that storm drain fee for Mr. Lyons. That's just part of being a resident of the community, but we believe that's going to be completely offset by some of the other things that he is already or can take advantage of by being a resident of Spanish Fork.
Did we talk to Steve?
Thank you, 3 times. Yeah, we've had multiple conversations. Chris has had a couple, our utility office has had a couple as well.
Because I sometimes just in a little explanation of what sometimes helps. I'll tell you, his garden brought a lot of smiles to a lot of people.
For sure, it was nice.
That's when he was, I don't know that he ate much out of it, but he did share that. But anyway.
Yeah, and like I said, it was either in the right of way to begin with or not.
It was always, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to your point, I think we chatted with him 1 or 2 times even before he came in. So we've had a lot of dialogue with him. Unfortunately, on the staff side, we haven't been able to satisfy those concerns.
Okay.
Thanks for the update.
Thank you, Seth. Appreciate that. Thanks, Chris. Okay, after follow-up to previous public comments, we have an item that's not always on our this part of the agenda, but we like when it is because it's pretty cool. It's when we have new officers that are sworn in, or new elected officials, and this time it is a new elected official. So at this time, Tara is the pro that's prepared in these fashions, and she will administer the oath of office to our newest elected official in Spanish Fork. Who's joining us today?
My wife, Callie.
Callie. All right. Welcome, Callie. You got the right angle, Travis, for this camera? Okay, perfect. All right.
All right, repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jesse Carson,
Having been appointed to the office of council member,
having been appointed to the office of council member,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United
of
States
the United States
and
and
the Constitution of the state of Utah.
the Constitution of the state of Utah.
And I will discharge the duties of my office
And I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity.
with fidelity. Now
Jesse,
it's official, Shane.
All right, you can go back.
is there anything that the Cardin family would like to say while they're here? We invited you all down here today. Is there anything that you guys want to say?
It's the first time they're quiet.
Remind us of your kids' names, Jesse.
So we have, if we're coming from the left, if we can see, we got Gavin, Caleb, and Madison. And then my wife, Callie.
and your wife Callie.
Cute kids.
Yep.
Just grateful for the opportunity to have Jesse serve on council. Thank you.
We're excited.
Yeah, thank you for your service already. When I mentioned to Callie out in the hall that tonight's agenda might be pretty light for a council meeting, it's old hat to her. Jesse's been serving on our planning commission and has been here to a few council meetings, so it's old hat that you're here for long agendas, but tonight might be a short one. So, thank you, Jesse. Anything you'd like to say?
No, I'm excited to serve and excited to, continue to serve in this capacity. The planning commission is different, but like it prepares you to serve in different capacities, and I'm excited to hit the ground running. So.
Okay, great. Well, welcome. Thank you, guys, and thank you. It's a family affair for sure, and we appreciate you coming and being here. We appreciate your dad. Okay.
I think Jesse said out in the hall they get a treat when they leave here, right? You're
I think-
taking them out someplace special?
I think
That's what you
so.
said?
Well, Mayor's getting in the drawers.
Oh, no, don't bail him out.
Come on, kids. Every time you get here, you can come up here and get some of these treats. We keep them in our. Yep. Yep.
There we go. Macy's is the best.
What they're doing. Okay, well, again, I was briefly going to say, before we go to council comments, that hearing that, the oath of office, we got to hear that earlier today with Commissioner Brandon Gordon being elected to the county commission, and they had that oath of office ceremony, much like we just did here over in the county building today, and just the some good pictures by Mr. Pete Hansen that was over there. Just hearing that oath be taken place not only by Brandon, but Commissioner Gardner, Mike Smith, the sheriff, Jeff Gray, the new attorney. Who am I missing? A couple other elected offices that, Brian, I'm looking at you. You were there.
County auditor
And county auditor and county clerk all took the oath of office to support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the state of Utah. And so just when you hear that, it's something that maybe refreshes and renews the commitment that we all have, that we've taken the oath, taken that a few times myself, and all of us up here have taken it a few times, and now Jesse has. Have you ever done that before for anything, or is
Not
that
that
the
oath,
first?
no.
Okay, all right, you've taken some oaths, but that's the first time with that one. So Brandon gave a good little speech after that simply said, celebrating is when you accomplish something, and now the work is just about to start. So he said, we'll party later after we get done with the work. And I know we all feel the same way up here. There's work ahead of us, and excited to have you a part of that work, Jesse, contribute to it. So, okay, with that, we'll start council comments. Excuse me, we'll have public comments first. Anybody that's here to address the mayor and council for public comments, please come up and speak to us. Seeing none, we'll go to council comments now. Jesse, we'll throw you right in the furnace. We're not going that way. We're going to go this way.
All right.
And so we'll any council comments for us?
The only comment I had, we were able to attend the library event, the Countdown to Noon, I think is what they called it. And it was a spectacular event the library puts on. So if you haven't had a chance to go to the library, go check it out. They have a lot of programs going. It'll be a lot nicer when we have a little bit more room. They had, I think Scott said 120 kids that were attending. And if you've been to that room, 120 kids in there, let's just not tell our fire marshal, that it was busy, and it was great to see, and they had a lot of fun. So that's all I have, Mayor.
Very good. Okay, Councilman Argyle.
Thank you, Mayor. So first of all, Happy New Year to the residents. And along with that and all this snow that we've been having, I want to thank all our snow drivers out there. They've been busy keeping our roads clean, and they've been up early and late in order to keep them clean. I want to thank them. Chris absolutely need to let them know. I know there was not just street drivers there, because I seen a couple that are, one of them works in the sewer plant, and asked my wife, I don't know if that's a good thing, having the water guy drive the truck, but he waved and honked, so they're all pitching in to get a good thing done, and we've had a lot of snow. And it's been a long time since we've had this much snow. I was telling them I've got 10 inches on my backyard. That's a lot of snow. And also just want to thank, as you drive around town and see the neighbors, and Wendy talked about this, how many neighbors shovel their neighbors' sidewalk and driveway, take their snow plow. I have somebody in our neighborhood, nobody seems to know who it is. He's up early when it snows and circles the entire block area that I live in and gets the sidewalk cleared before anybody even gets up. Grateful for that kind of, in our community, those people that watch after their neighbor, those that are shut-ins or senior and can't get out and shovel that snow. It's a lot of work to shovel, especially this was a heavy snow, this last storm, but they don't get a shout out. Grateful to them who watch out for their neighbor in this community. That's so important that we know and keep an eye out for them. Thank you to each one of those that just quietly go about what they do and serve their neighbor. And just mention, I don't know if legislative sessions coming up. It's always a busy time for several of us up here. Need to go to them sessions, especially Seth will be heavily involved in that. We have an official day where our youth council will get an opportunity to go up there, see the session, watch maybe a bill being debated and those kind of things. Such an opportunity for our youth council to go up there and rub shoulders with our good council, our good representatives, Senate and House representatives that we have for this state. It's so important that we're involved in that. If you guys have something that you want to communicate to our representatives, please do so. They want to hear from you. They want to know what we feel like. They're always asking. Send us an email, give us a call, let us know. I know when they go into session, they're busy. They're good to send out weekly updates of what's going on in the bills and stuff. And I think somebody mentioned in one of them when we was meeting with them, and this has been a month or so ago, said there was already over 500 bills that had already been on the docket for this coming up legislative session. So they impact our lives individually and the city and everything else. So stay involved. Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Argyle. Councilwoman Beck.
I would just like to quickly thank Jesse for putting his name in. It was, 16 interviews that we went through. It took many, many hours, but Jesse, we're super excited for you to join us. I remember 7 years ago when I was elected, and I think that's the first time I ever saw you, and you just kind of kept attending city council meeting and sitting back there, and finally I'm like, who is that guy that just keeps coming? And someone said, oh, that's Jesse Cardin. He just loves the city and loves politics. And that was my first introduction to you. And so I think it's very deserving. You love Spanish Fork City, and you have grown by leaps and bounds these last 7 years with all the things you've been involved in. So I thank you for your service prior to this and look forward to working with you through this.
Thank you, Stacey.
Thank you. Councilman Marshall.
I want to second Chad's comments about our men and women pushing snow. It's a difficult job. I know the road outside my house was well taken care of. It was much, much appreciated. Even the snow when it comes into my driveway, please bring it on. That means it's not in the road. So great job. Thank you all for that. Chiefs, crew, these are tough times for the men and women in law enforcement. There's a lot of things going on. Not only just the normal day-to-day work, but you have to respond to a bunch of accidents too. So appreciate all the hard work you guys have done. Jesse, welcome. I am sarcastic on occasion. I don't know that anyone in this room knows that, but I am. But sincerely, it's great to have you on board. I'm looking forward to working with you. Bring all the questions and comments. It would be nice to have yet another one that asks a bunch of questions. To Chad's point about the legislative session is starting, it starts on the 17th, but Representative Steve White is having a gathering here on the 7th from 6 to 7. He wants to hear from you. Come, talk to him. He's really good about taking comments and putting those into his bills and things like that. So come and give him some feedback. January 7th in these chambers from 6 to 7. That's it for me.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilman Marshall. Councilman Euler.
First of all, Happy New Year, Spanish Fork. Echo what Chad said. It's going to be a great year, 2023. We've got a lot of exciting things going on in our community that we can all get behind and be excited about. Jesse, welcome. I have no doubt that you will work extremely hard for the people of Spanish Fork. So welcome to the council. Glad to have you. I'm going to turn some time over now to Kathleen Levitt from the Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you so much, everyone. Councilman Cardin, that's exciting to say. Thank you, Kevin. So, new year, new stream of events. The big thing up on our agenda for January is our annual awards gala and installation banquet is the 25th of this month. We're hosting it at the Riverbridge Event Center this year. So we're just finalizing awards right now. This is the soft/hard reminder, Mayor Middenhall, for your Mayor's Choice Award for a lucky business here in town. But yeah.
Call you out.
In public, yeah.
Okay, just checking.
I said soft, hard.
I thought she was going to say, remember, put it on your calendar. It's on my calendar, but.
There you go.
At least be there.
Yeah,
Right,
be
that's
there.
great, that's great. No, just your nominee would be super.
You got it. I'm on it.
But yeah, no, we're super excited. We're going to be swearing in our new board members for 2023, welcoming them, getting them all officialized. So that will be really exciting. And then also it's going to be a great time celebrating the businesses and professionals who have all worked really, really hard in 2022 for our community. So that's what we've got up in January, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Kathleen. Then finally for me, I just want to echo what's already been said. The snow is awesome. So exciting to have so much snow in the mountains, and just want to express my gratitude to our snowplow drivers and to our first responders. I've got an app on my phone that notifies me of accidents, and I think within a 2-hour period yesterday, I got 6 different notifications about accidents on I-15 and Highway 6. So our men and women, first responders, were very busy yesterday and with all the snow. And so I want to thank them for the work that they do to keep us safe. That's all I have. Thank you, Mayor.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilman Euler. Yes, echo what's already been said here. Thanks to the guys pushing snow. It has been storm upon storm. It's not typical that it happens this way, but when it happens, we're sure thankful that they're out all the time, and that is a lot of time, a lot of early mornings, a lot of late nights. So the legislative session, Councilman Marshall mentioned this, so did Councilman Argyle, coming up the 17th of January. Be a busy time. It can be a busy time for you as residents as well. It starts to, make the news that lawmakers are meeting and discussing and debating different items up there. Just know that that's something that we're involved in as well, up there physically on Zoom meetings and everything else. Councilwoman Beck has some responsibilities with the Utah League of Cities and Towns that puts her intimately involved there, which represents all of us cities and towns. Our city manager, I've mentioned this before, but he is the city manager kind of for the whole state, if you will, right now. Is that a big title? Is that too big of a title? We'll get you a badge if you'd like. Okay, well.
I think a badge.
How big of a badge would that be?
Yep.
To word of the meeting.
Might need a necklace instead of a badge, yeah.
Little chain
That's
thing.
right.
Like a ball and a chain.
There you go.
Okay.
So city managers all over the state, right, 248 cities and towns in the state of Utah, and that association has our city manager representing them up on Capitol Hill, different issues, to really talk about how the day-to-day operations of a city works and the laws that they pass or don't pass, what that means on the real boots on the ground level for cities and towns. And so I look forward to that session with Seth, and I'm sure some lawmakers don't look forward to that session with Seth. He's got a good command of the facts, and it's pretty good to have him up there on our side. So excited for that. I've already brought it up Nick showed pictures of Councilman Gordon getting sworn in, but it struck me today to open that meeting up, the chaplain of Utah Valley University and BYU, Linda Walton, was there to give the opening thought and prayer. And I thought it was poignant, it was a good prayer, but I thought it was poignant that she said for her thought, she recited the First Amendment of the Constitution. And again, that just brought home after, or that was right before these elected officials took the oath of office. And it struck me again of the work we're doing up here. She said, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people to peaceably to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And I thought that was just nice coming from a chaplain, reminding these elected officials what is our government. It's made up of imperfect people that are here for the citizens to bring their redress to us and say, hey, here's a problem I got, let's talk about it. And so as we look forward that with a new council member sworn in, I'm confident that the citizens of Spanish Fork, you can peaceably assemble. You can come to these meetings and petition each one of your elected officials for issues that you have. We promise to do that with fidelity. We take this oath of office seriously and we'll help work through those problems, whatever they may be in 2023. But what I am super excited about is the outlook of 2023. Our city is set up second to none to have a very successful year, up and coming year. I'm excited to give somewhat in the coming weeks somewhat of a state of the city, if you will. Everybody hears a State of the Union and State of the State address that happens, but we're excited to talk a little bit about the state of our city and what 2023 looks like for all of us. Regardless, again, of the things we can't control geopolitics, we can't control a lot of the things that get larger and outside our scope, but what we can control in our city, we've done a very good job of doing it, and it sets us up very well for not only the city's success, but individual successes, business successes, and go down the line. So super excited for a new council member, excited for 2023, and we should all be that way too. With that, I'm going to read off some boards and committees. You've heard that spoken about when we do council comments. The council says these are the meetings I attended, these are the committees that they had to go to. Again, Councilwoman Beck has said this very well before, but this is sometimes the shortest part of our council duties in a month is these meetings on a couple of nights a month. We have committees that we serve on all year long. And so with a new council member, we've shuffled some things around, given some new assignments. That doesn't mean they've messed anything up. That simply means that...
Or it does.
Or it does. Maybe it does. Yeah. That simply means that everybody rotates and gets a little feel for what they can add to these different committees respective inside the city. So I'll start with new council member Cardin's responsibilities. So you can write these down, and I hope you've already got these. But the things we'll ask Councilman Cardin to go to in meetings and report back to this body about in 2023 will be the airport board, will be the arts council, will be. Let me scroll and find your name again.
Well, that's it. You're going easy on me.
No, sorry. Not out of it yet. Yes, I'm not there. Yes, the Chamber of Commerce, and those are the three we got you on right now. Okay, Councilman Argyle. I could have had this set up in a little bit better way, so I didn't have to scroll through it. But Councilman Argyle is on our Veterans Board. Councilman Argyle is on the South Utah Valley Municipal Water Association. Councilman Argyle is on the Rotary Club. And I said Veterans Council already, right? Okay. Youth and Youth City Council, yes, sorry, I didn't scroll all the way to the bottom where it's that, the Youth City Council. Councilwoman Beck, the boards that she'll continue to report to us on is the Fiesta Days Executive Committee. You haven't messed that up? You haven't messed that up yet? Yeah.
Did you yeehaw?
I like Fiesta Days.
The Library Board, nothing going on there. No,
No, that'll be
buildings or
boring
anything.
here.
Yeah, pretty boring, huh? Library Board, Miss Spanish Fork Pageant, which comes with the Little Miss Spanish Fork Pageant. Is there something else you were on?
The league.
And the Utah League of Cities and Towns, yes, yep. She's part of our Legislative Policy Committee at the Utah League of Cities and Towns. Okay, Councilman Marshall, this is not,
Do you need to write this down?
this is not optional, Councilman Marshall. These are,
Oh, we were voting.
no, we're not voting on this. Made these decisions. You're on the Parks and Rec Committee. Who did I forget that was on?
Kevin.
What's that? No, not on the Kevin. Who did I say was going on the rap? Oh, I'll get to you. All right. You're next. Hold on.
Somebody's got to be the garbage man, the trash man, right?
Councilman Marshall is staying on the Utah Lake Commission, which has taken on a little bit different
Utah
animal.
Lake Authority.
The Utah Lake Authority. You're still a representative on the Utah Lake Authority. You are a representative on the South Utah Valley Solid Waste District, otherwise known as Garbage.
And we want enthusiastic reports on that, please?
Nope.
You have to.
Yeah, we're used to that.
No.
You have to.
We just lower the bar.
You've got to be really excited about that. The Utah Valley Authority Governing Board, is that what the Utah Lake Authority Board is? Is that a different?
I don't know.
It says Utah Valley Authority Governing Board. I don't know. It says you start that May of
You can do
22.
whatever you want with
Yeah.
that one.
And the Wastewater Treatment Plant Advisory Committee. So that committee's been meeting. If
Yeah, it must be.
is that what they call it? Okay. Okay. So,
We have a committee with Binghamton today. No, I was the one you just said.
the Utah Valley Governing Board.
It has to be.
Oh, the Wastewater Treatment Plant Advisory Committee. So that goes on regardless of us getting the facility completed, right? That's still a meeting that goes on. Okay. Perfect. Any comments about that? Tough, because those are your assignments.
He finally gets to vote, and look what happens.
Yeah, see, and finally I get the vote. This is
This is what you get to do.
This is what you get. Councilman Euler will serve on the Personnel Committee, along with myself, that works a lot with Jordan Hales on bringing on personnel. He'll also be on our Recreation, Arts, and Parks Committee, that is our RAP program. Applications start in, Dale, February, March? You'll see applications out for March 1st for nonprofits to be able to petition for that great access to funds to further the recreation, arts, and parks of our city. Still on the Risk Management Committee. Still serving on the Seniors Advisory Board. We put it up to a vote there. They did not kick you out. They love the seniors love.
He plays the piano. How can they not?
I know.
His wife, and she serves.
That's done it.
We love them. We love them.
The South Utah Valley Animal Services Special District, you'll still remain on. And the Mount Nebo Water Agency, you will still remain on. And I think that takes me down to Veterans Council, which should be the last. Okay.
I was on risk before, am I not? I'm okay with that.
You're not on risk. Yep.
You'll have to teach me everything you know.
You don't know how to
Only went
manage
once,
risk.
so.
Yeah, come see us.
He was too risky.
What we had was a problem of the,
That was way too fast. And there's two of us, normally two of us on this.
great.
Councilmember Gordon was an insurance agent who was on the risk management committee. And an insurance agent might just lean a little too conservative on the risk management committee.
Oh, he sure
Right.
did.
All he wanted was,
Fun hater.
yeah, was to talk about
Typical.
what was potentially problems, so. Really excited for all those assignments. I know the respective committees you sit on are excited as well, as I've spoken to some of them. Obviously, those meetings are critical to getting feedback from those organizations, from those residents that are on those committees, and bringing those issues, if they are issues, or solutions up to this body, so we can know what we're doing up here. So thank you in advance for your hard work, council. It's been a great year in performing those duties, and look to a healthy and productive 2023 on those committees as well. Any questions about that? Okay, cool, good. All right, that takes us to item number 6, consent items on the agenda. Any questions on the consent items?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent items.
Second?
Motion made by Councilwoman Beck, seconded by Councilman Argyle to approve the consent items. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Consent items are approved. It takes us to our public hearing.
Can we just acknowledge the monumental historic thing that just happened right then?
Somebody else did consent items?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Has that been, has he done that ever since he was a council member before? I mean, we could go back and look at tape,
I'm gonna not look at tape, but
Yeah.
I'm just gonna assume he did.
but as long as I was, so that's 9 years, going on 10.
Yeah, he might have taken up that from Rod. I feel like Rod was doing it.
Is he the consent guy?
I feel like it was Rod, and so ever since Rod.
I'm happy to do that, but I'm definitely not taking us into closed session.
You can't take one without the other.
You know Brandon's at home, teary-eyed.
He is watching this.
That's why I had to
long
point
and-
it out. He's like,
Yep, that is what he's
Mantle has
doing.
been passed.
Okay, consent items are approved, and our public hearing tonight is for the disposition of city-owned property, Thistle Creek and Highway 89 area, otherwise known as Crab Creek. Is this Tyler Jacobson speaking to us about this before we go into public hearing?
Gosh, that went way too quick. Sorry, I'm usually ready for this. All right. No, I'm saying the opening comments. No, I'm ready. I'm just saying, like, I was
he's been readier.
readier. We have a little bit of history here to start off. There are a couple of parcels of property that we own near Highway 89 in between Thistle and Birdseye. It's an area known as Crab Creek, and there are two parcels in particular right now that we're proposing that we offer to the public to purchase. So those would be located in these purple areas. So there's 320 acres here and 80.43 acres here. And then up here in red, I've highlighted where we actually have where we piped the water from Crab Creek in the spring that feeds it. And that water now feeds Spanish Fork City. So this picture that is up on the screen is actually from probably maybe 25, 30 years ago when we were up there doing work, getting this ready. Today, this is what the area looks like. So you can see it's you can really, if you didn't know what it was, you probably wouldn't know what was up there. Initially, when we purchased this property, we purchased quite a few acres, and we did that so that we could harvest the water and the water shares, and we've done that. And now we're at a point where we actually don't need these these two parcels of property anymore, as we have what we need up here. So we're proposing that we put the 320 acre parcel and the 80 acre parcel up for sale. And that's my contact information if you guys do approve this, so that people can reach out and let me know that they're interested. There's no timeline on this. There are some things that the city still needs to do in order to sell this. There are some easements that we need to make sure that we have and that we maintain when we sell this property. And there's also some other surveying and other items that we need to take care of before we actually did put forth some type of a sales agreement or purchase agreement. So any questions on?
So Tyler, selling this doesn't affect at all the springs that we use currently for water in the city?
Not at all, nope. Nope.
Any other questions for Tyler before we go into public hearing? Okay, I'd entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Argyle, seconded by Councilman Euler to go into public hearing. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're in public hearing for this item. Anybody from the public would like to speak about this? I would entertain a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Argyle, seconded by Councilman Cardon to go out of public hearing. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're out of public hearing. Any other questions or discussion up here about this property?
No.
They can contact you starting today about being interested if people are.
That'd be great.
Okay, perfect. Okay, if there's no other further questions, I would entertain a motion to recommend this for approval to sale, to entertain offers for city-owned property.
I move to approve the disposition of city-owned property, Thistle Creek and Highway 89 area, Crab Creek.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Cardon, seconded by Councilman Argyle. Roll call vote. Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Argyle.
Yes.
Councilman Cardon.
Yes.
It passes. Good work, Councilman Cardon.
First one.
First one down. Item 8. Item 8A, golf course tournament fees. Mr. Ryan Reese is here to join us. 10 inches of snow, not good to golf in, but good for the golf course.
Yeah, I'm not complaining.
Okay.
We can use it for sure. Maybe in a month we'll
There you
get
go.
open there,
I
so.
like it.
Well, a couple months, maybe.
We need it to not melt quite that fast.
Yeah, no. I'll make this as quick and succinct as I can. As the golf business has grown the last few years and as our community is growing, we are having to constantly reevaluate kind of our policies and things we have going at the golf course to accommodate different things. One of those things is the way we run tournaments, and more specifically shotgun tournaments, which is basically when a company or a fundraiser wants to close the course and rent the whole course out for an amount of time. In the past, we've been able to do that by simply charging our regular rate. Let's say it's $50 and they would have 100 players. It would be $5,000 that we would make in a Saturday morning or a Friday morning. And that used to be sufficient, but as busy as we are now, looking at our numbers on a Friday or Saturday morning, if we sell out all of our tee times, it's close to $10,500 if we sell all of our tee times out. And so that model doesn't really work anymore. And so we're proposing to do a flat fee for people who would like to rent the course basically out for the entire morning. We will still offer the regular rate for those who want to do it on Monday through Thursday. But if they want to rent it out on basically prime time, which is Friday, Saturday morning, we're proposing a flat rate fee. If they bring 2 players or 144 players, it would be the same amount. We kind of run into a problem with tournaments when they tell us they're going to have a certain amount of players, and then they come with significantly less, and so we're kind of out the money. So we are proposing a $9,500 flat fee if somebody wants to rent the course out for a shotgun tournament on Friday and Saturday. Obviously, there's less expensive ways they can go if they want to go that route on Monday through Thursday, or if they want to just do tee times. But to block the whole course out for that amount of time, that's the amount of money that we would make if we didn't do it. And so we are running at about 90 to 95% usage rate at the course, occupancy, if you will, on Fridays and Saturdays in the mornings. Now that we've got our irrigation system done in August and September, we're running about 90, 95% occupancy of tee times at the golf course. So we feel like that this is the best way to go to kind of protect the course from running tournaments and not being profitable on those tournaments. So that's as quickly and as succinctly as I can go through it. But I'm happy to take any questions if anybody has any questions on that. That was pretty quick, but
So currently, I book a tournament, I'm saying there's 100 people, I only show up with 50, I only pay the 50. I don't pay the full 100 people.
I mean, we've tried to hold people to it, and it's usually not that dramatic.
Sure.
Usually it's more 100, maybe say 120, and they show up with 97,
Okay.
or whatever the case may be. And so, instead of making $6,500, we make $5,000 instead for closing it down. So, rather than having to deal with those issues, we're just like, look, if you want to rent the course for this period of time, because we have to shut the course down for this period of time for a shotgun tournament, we will just charge a flat rate.
I think that, to me, is what makes the biggest difference. You actually have to shut down the course to all their users because of this tournament, tying up the entire course for 6 hours.
Because just because you're going to start at 8 o'clock, a shotgun start means everybody starts at the same time and finishes at the same time. So if you're going to start at 8 o'clock, we can't let people out between 6 and 8 because they're on the course and they have to be off the course. So we lose that period of revenue as well. And so that's where this kind of comes into play. And 5 or 6 years ago, $5,000 on a Saturday morning was a good Saturday morning.
Sure.
But things have changed dramatically for us, and so this is what most of the courses in the area are going to. And like I said, if somebody wants to go the less expensive route, they can come on Monday through Thursday for just the regular green fee rate that we charge. So.
Any other questions for Ryan on this? It's a credit to you, Ryan, of managing this, of the course, like you said, 5 or 6 years ago. It's different today, and a lot of it's different because of you, the way you run it, the way you manage it, the pro that you are. So you should be commended for that. But that you talking in 90 and 95% of the golfers at the Oaks are because they got tee times is a dramatic difference from a course that you used to walk up to and get on or see if you get on or something. And it's hard to do now at the Oaks, and that's a good thing.
And everywhere, really. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice that it is at our place, but it's just golf is in a kind of a boom right now. And with the population growth that we're getting, it should continue. So.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Anything else for Ryan? Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
Ryan.
for all your support and the residents for their support of the golf course.
Perfect. Okay, if there's no other questions on this, I would entertain a motion.
I move to approve golf course tournament fees.
Second.
The motion made by Councilman Marshall, seconded by Councilman Euler to approve the golf tournament fees as presented by Ryan. So roll call vote. Councilman Cardon?
Yes.
Councilman Argyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck?
Yes.
Councilman Marshall?
Yes.
Councilman Euler?
Yes.
Okay, those are approved. Takes us to item 8B, the Barney fence height approval request. Mr. Dave Anderson.
Mr. Mayor, thank you. The municipal code allows for people to construct walls and fences up to 6 feet in height unless the city council approves something different. A few years ago, the council approved a fence for the Barneys at the same location that was constructed in accordance with the council's approval then. It is taller than 6 feet, and the Barneys, as I understand it now, are proposing to replace that fence with an aluminum fence that would have something of a wrought iron style. There are 2 different images that the Barneys have provided that I think further describe what that fence would look like. It's my understanding that it would be placed the same location as the existing fence on their property, and I think that's it.
You can't make it more complicated?
We tool really quickly.
Are,
All good.
are they trying to keep with an 8-foot and curved and pointed fence something out?
I'd let them speak to that if I could guess. But
It is to keep the deer out.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Keeping the deer out?
Thank you, Dave.
Yes, and reapproving.
Ms. Barney, it appears maybe that the deer, the wood that was there before wasn't doing quite the job.
Well, the problem
Run
actually.
it.
You come up, sorry, well,
Yeah.
you didn't have to, but I asked you a question and, yeah. And now she probably needs your name to get you on the record. Okay, all right, Ms. Barney.
What the problem was, is we were out of town when the fence was installed, and they did not put the posts in the way they said they were going to put them in. So now they are rotting off. So instead of replacing the fence with wood posts, the aluminum will look nicer, it'll just be more durable, and so that's why we're wanting to change the fence out. So it would go exactly in the same location as the other fence. It will look a lot nicer, it will stay nice. We won't have to worry about staining it all the time, and it will be, I think it will be an improvement to what we have. We tried to stick with a style that was similar, that was approved before, as close as we could get it, so.
Very good. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Any other questions for the applicant or staff on this one?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the Barney fence height.
Perfect.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Beck, seconded by Councilman Argyle. If you're watching it.
Question.
Yeah.
Staff has recommended a straight, not curved bars. Do we want to,
It definitely doesn't, yes.
You want just the straight?
Yeah, we just couldn't find the right picture for everything, so we were combining pictures so you could have the whole
gotcha,
image.
Okay.
Of the fence. So it's kind of
just straight?
uneven
Staggered.
straight.
Okay.
Yeah, just between it. Yeah, we don't.
What'd you call it?
Stagger.
Oh, it's some fancy
We
name.
don't
I'm
want it
like,
to look
damn.
like Fort Knox.
Yeah.
I don't know.
People will wonder what you're trying to keep out, you know?
I don't know.
And just for those watching at home, the agenda, obviously the reason why we're even talking about somebody's fence height is because it's normal for 6-foot fence, right? But if we go above that, you come to council and ask to go above that and state your case. So thank you for coming and giving some clarification to that. Motion made by Councilwoman Beck, seconded by Councilman Argyle, and discussed by Councilman Marshall. Is there any further discussion on this? Roll call vote. Councilman Marshall?
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck?
Yes.
Councilman Argyle?
Yes.
Councilman Cardon?
Yes.
And Councilman Euler?
Yes.
That's approved. Okay, takes us to item 9A, the temporary closure of 3400 East, a discussion item for the council here.
You'll recall along the railroad that's by Highway 51, kind of towards the Canyon Creek area, on your way out to Springville, there was an old farm crossing that fed from that new area that's been developed, Legacy Farms area, across over kind of where Lowe's is. And that farm crossing brought a lot of these people here through here to kind of get into the shopping area and where the hospital is. And that traffic became so great that as we did a study on the area, we found that there was a lot of safety issues with that. And so at that time, we did a temporary closure of it, not really intending to ever open it up again, but waiting for the permanent closure when Spanish Fork Parkway can be put across, and the actual closure of this is actually a condition in order for us to get the Spanish Fork Parkway Railroad crossing. So it solved the safety issue here, and it has worked out well. As far as we're concerned, as far as these people are concerned, I think a few people up here would rather have stayed open, but But it has worked well, and we have had no accidents because of that crossing since then. So that's
No
been
one's
good.
there.
That's good.
It's good.
I think we had accidents before. But
Just
you're,
near
you're
accident.
doing better by it, because. It's
a good trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will be a wonderful crossing.
Instead of one person, now we can get like 10.
So Chris, is there plans to have a trail there instead? Based on the property lines, it looks like.
Someday, I think that's more coming when this railroad is abandoned and moved, and then maybe a rail trail.
That'll make a great trail.
At the very least, a pedestrian connection through here. We for sure would like that. At any rate, if you could zoom out and go to kind of the 3400 East area.
Chris, so what are we going to do with this piece of ground?
Probably put a trail there.
Okay, in the future, okay.
So we have another railroad crossing, which is quite hazardous. You can even, well, let me kind of give you an area and then we can zoom in. I can show you, but maybe if you could zoom out a little, I'd like everyone to kind of see this.
Yeah, zoom out a little bit. It's okay.
So this crossing is right here on 3400 East. And this actually was another condition. In order to get this crossing in, Union Pacific said we had to close this crossing and we had to close this crossing. We were agreeable to closing this because it is also a very hazardous crossing. If you zoom in right on there, you can see why. It's what's... When you have a parallel road with a major highway which has higher speeds, and you make movements like this off of it, a lot of times if you're coming down the road here, it's hard to see a train coming, or the same here, and so we've had a lot of accidents here and in similar situations. In fact, we were looking at a 2-year period, and we had 5 injuries from traffic accidents in this in 2020 and 2021. I remember hearing some descriptions of one of those accidents, a minivan full of kids, and very lucky, but a few of them got hurt, and we've had other accidents too with injuries. So. That being said, we know we have to close this. We don't have to close it permanently until 3 years after the other crossing is open. That's what we wrote in the agreement. But as we've looked at this, and as we've looked at the accident history and UDOT, the county, and the county's desires to close this as well, and Union Pacific's desires, our thoughts are to do something similar where we do a temporary closure with the intent to not open it up again, but put off the permanent closure until we kind of see what some developments occur. Doing permanent stuff here might actually be a waste of tax dollars, depending on how it develops. The temporary closure that we would be proposing while you're zoomed in would be to Jersey Barrier this off and that off. And then if you can zoom out just one click, put a fence here with a gate, put some padlocks on the gate for, any farmer or person who needs to get on there, so that whoever needs to have it could have a padlock. You can have multiple padlocks all linked together, and then that allows in, who should be in it. And so as a temporary closure, that's what we propose to do. And we have a few reasons for that. If you could zoom out even more. First and foremost is safety. Maybe a little bit more. I want to kind of show this neighborhood down here. First and foremost is safety. And I think all other reasons aside, we would still recommend this just because of safety issues. But there are some other compelling issues, and that is as more and more people depend on this it becomes harder and harder to close it. And we have 400 plus homes going in here, we have another approximately 70 homes going in here, and maybe another 100 homes here. And our feeling is the more people that move in here and start getting used to using that, the more angst that we are going to suffer when we actually do close it down. And so we think that's a compelling reason to get it closed before people move in. And then we have enjoyed a really good relationship with the railroad lately, thanks to the mayor and some of the things that he's been able to accomplish. And we think this would be a good faith gesture. I think they'd really look favorably on that, and they've really helped us get some things we've been waiting a long time for. And so that's kind of a third reason why we think this would be a good idea. Anyway, just kind of need some direction. You've already done all the legislative stuff that you would need to do for this. Just the direction I would need is, if you don't mind, if we just do it now instead of when, 3 years from, then as long as, I think that's all I need.
Just need a thumbs up then.
Chris, did you say they're the ones that requested it, or this was more our idea?
This is engineering requesting this, city.
Chris, just one question, additional or maybe clarification. You said that the farmers that were here, these two property owners, they would have access to getting back to their property. Is that how I understood that?
Yeah, this one for sure. We're not sure this fellow needs it, but if he does, we definitely give him a padlock as well.
I'm pretty sure this right here is an access to.
Okay, so
Yeah.
as many as need it.
Farmers, yeah.
Just allow them to put their own padlock on.
Perfect.
Not access to cross the railroad anymore, but access to get.
Again, we'd block
on
that.
the
Yeah, we'd
west
block
side.
it on both sides with Jersey barriers, so that would be
So the
permanently
gate's
closed.
just kind of double protection.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
But we would want to close it right here, so vehicles didn't get down here and have a hard time turning around. And we don't want to spend a lot of taxpayer dollars buying property, building a turnaround when, this could develop in a way that would not be needed.
Right.
So to get to US 9, it's on Highway 6 and then not quite all the way to 4th North, but there's another road a little further south, right?
Yeah, so you'd have to kind of go around. There are some developments coming in where it might not be as far.
Okay, yeah, as you're looking at that, that looks like cumbersome to get around up in that area.
Why don't you zoom out a little bit? And
7,200
First south.
First south, yeah.
first south.
this is 700 South. You'd have to go to 100 South to get across, or come down here to get across to Mapleton. So
Not as far as I was thinking then.
you do not have a lot of people right now who are inconvenienced by that, but it certainly is growing. One of the things we've discussed is, as this develops, then this road will come up here, and that will be a more direct route up there. And so that's kind of a priority. So
This is something that Chris and I have debated a lot, and I've candidly been very opposed to closing this sooner than later. And Chris knows this as we've been talking through it, and I've changed my thoughts and opinions on that in terms of this temporary or precursor to the permanent closure. Simply because if we have determined that it's not safe today, then why invite 400 new residents to have that as an access point and create some headaches later? Second of all, the majority of the people that today are crossing it are probably coming from areas where I live. For example, in my neighborhood, as they're traveling to Mapleton, or from Mapleton to my area. And all of those residents probably, save maybe a minute by not just going across that Spanish Fork Parkway, and then heading east on 100 South. If they go that way, then they have a traffic light at Spanish Fork Parkway, and it's a little bit easier than getting across Highway 6 at that other route, that other location on 3400 East as well. So there's I think a few good reasons now to say, can we do this temporary closing? Vaughn just got up, so I'm guessing he's got some thoughts or concerns about this. But We didn't really consult with him. Sorry, Vaughn. Judy, we typically do. We typically do.
I just wanted to remind you, you probably remember that your last meeting, you already did the public hearing to close the crossing, approve the agreement, and to vacate the right-of-way as it crosses the railroad track. So those legal steps are done. Now we're just talking about the practicality of implementing it.
That's great.
Pretty sure, Chris, with that new car wash, all these people are gonna be going down this road to get their car washed, so we need to probably get it closed.
Yeah, it's unique that you have that rather large development happening on our side and a development happening simultaneously across in Mapleton. And so you're right, as far as timing goes, if it's not safe now, it's only going to get more unsafe. And delaying it only gives us more vehicles.
So we talked about a kind of a countdown, if you will, and I don't know if we want to pick a date, if that's, say, February 1 or February 15 or January. It won't be tomorrow. We need to coordinate with UDOT and do a few things. But do you have a recommendation, Chris, on when you'd like to say we put those variable message boards out and begin communicating that this particular crossing will close as of a certain date, or do you want them to pick a date? Do you have any recommendations?
I think beginning of February is doable.
Do you want to go the middle of February so it's not?
Sure, February 15th or
14th?
14th, good Valentine's present.
Friday.
You want a Friday?
Or a Thursday.
February 16 it is.
17th is a Friday, 10th is a Friday,
How about the 16th?
Thursday.
16th is Thursday.
16th.
Yeah.
Okay, any other discussion with that or questions, or given, again, like Vaughn stated, we've already done the legislative piece of this, so there's no need for public hearing or a formal motion of this, right? Just kind of giving you the thumbs up on that date.
Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Good, sounds good.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Okay, that takes us to item 10. We do have closed session on the agenda tonight, is that right?
Yep.
So
I move
You
to,
guys are going to do this.
Chad's gonna move to go.
I move to go into closed session for reasonable, it's
imminent.
imminent litigation and land use.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Argyle and seconded by Councilman Cardon
It'll take a while.
to go into closed session. Roll call vote. Councilman Cardon?
Yes.
Councilman Argyle?
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck?
Yes.
Councilman Marshall?
Yes.
Councilman Euler?
Yes.
We're adjourned from City Council. Thank you all for joining us.
If you log in, sometimes I don't log in and you don't see it.